Hey, what's up guys? Little man with a big opinion here, and in today's video, because I've got a few people that have asked me, what's going on with the stock market, I'm going to give my personal opinion on it. It is a well-educated personal opinion, but by all means, it is just my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor, and I don't claim to be one. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Know that it doesn't just come from a place of no knowledge. But again, these are my speculations on why the market has dropped today. Several things on the list. But before I get into that, I got to give myself a promotion. Up in the top right hand corner where it says free stock and then get your attention, and you click on it and you're like, oh, I need to invite 3 people and I get a free 4th bonus stock. I'm like, yeah, I want to do that. So I have had 1 person sign up so far, and if by the end of June I get 2 more people to sign up, not only will I receive the 2 shares of stocks from them, but I'll also receive a 3rd one. I guess this is just Robinhood's campaign going on right now, and it makes me super happy. The reason why it makes me super happy is I'll click on the message spot and I'll click on this one. So for those of you that didn't watch yesterday's video, or you might be brand new to the channel, I received 1 share of ticker symbol JNJ, or Johnson & Johnson, from Milton, and that's because he joined Robinhood using my referral link, and he got a stock as well. I don't know what it is because he hasn't commented in a video yet. So Milton, please let me know what stock you got, because it makes me feel like I've done you a service, and I want to hear your investing story, strategy, all that good stuff. So without further ado, let's get into why my portfolio has dropped roughly 6% today, or $100. So the first thing on the list is, now that cities are finally starting to total up or get an estimated cost for all of the protests or riots or destruction, vandalism, whatever you want to call it, regardless of if something was peaceful or not, it cost money to keep police officers on duty that long. Most of them probably got a tremendous amount of overtime pay, including, firefighter, EMS, and government service workers like that in general. So that's partially where money was kind of tossed around nonchalantly. And then the obvious destruction around the United States. The last YouTube video I watched, which, I can't guarantee it is facts, but they showed a clip from CNN talking about it, so I don't know. But they said the estimated cost in Minneapolis, Minnesota, was $25 million worth of damages. That's a tremendous amount of money that has to go back into reinvesting within the community, instead of doing, typical maintenance. You have to completely rebuild something. So I haven't heard any numbers about what the, national cost of it was, but from what I saw, watching YouTube, and on the news, I would say we're getting close to $500 million. If Minneapolis is the 34th or 44th largest city in the U.S., and they had $25 million, I really feel like, Los Angeles, New York, Houston, Chicago, those cities probably blew them out of the water. I watched a video, and there were entire streets of New York that any building that you saw plywood on, that was because they didn't have windows anymore. So the only person whose business is booming right now is glass companies. So now that those numbers are finally starting to come out, there was a handful of cities that Amazon specifically said it was anywhere between 48 or 72 hours, I don't remember, that they weren't going to deliver any packages there because they didn't want to provide something that would incentivize people to, steal their goods and services. They didn't want to put their drivers in the position of, oh my God, I'm panicking because there's 100 people around me, and they start running people over. And then they didn't want to, in my opinion, all of these things are what made Amazon want to do this. They also didn't want, protesters, whether they're peaceful or violent, to get hurt because of getting run over or because of the backlash from, police who are trying to get, goods and services in and throughout cities. So a very long spiel for basically we're seeing numbers of the monetary value of what's happening, and companies that might have had stores destroyed or vandalized, they're probably rethinking whether or not they should fix their store and, restock it, or our lease is up at this point and we don't want to come back. This is supposed to be our community and they treated us like dog poop. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is, even with all of the safety precautions that we have, even with the limited, capacity of the economy because of, having a 25% capacity of your normal buildings limit, states that are reopening are starting to see a slow increase in their coronavirus numbers. In my opinion, the only thing that would have stopped it, the virus in its tracks, is if every single person coming into the country was mandatorily put on a 14-day quarantine as soon as we heard about the first, case in China. But, that could have had bad potentials of shutting down a lot of the U.S. economy, and deaths are bad, but also deaths because of, choosing whether or not you're going to eat or, pay the bill to keep a roof over your head. It's not quite as bad as death, but the coronavirus starting to pick up in the summer because states are reopening, because a lot of people, who have been living on the bare bones of money, they've blown through their savings, they've blown through the stimulus checks, and I believe it's July 31st that the extension on the increased value of unemployment goes away as well. So people want to get back to work so they can get their lives back going, but we are seeing more cases. And so the coronavirus is what started the decline of the market to begin with. I can look at my 1 week and it's all over the place. Good news, bad news. 1 month, it looks amazing. We're on an upward trend and we had little bitty, spikes throughout it. When you look at the 3 month, again, it looks pretty darn good. When you look at the 1 year, for me, I haven't been investing in a year, but way over here on the left side, almost right above the 1 week, I don't think this is, no, it's right here. I don't know why my analytics are being weird, because I didn't have $1,100 in Robinhood, but basically the stock market plummeted 30-40% because of the coronavirus, and I closed out, and now you're seeing all the apps I have on my screen. I played a few games. Alright, we'll go back to Robinhood. My bad, guys. My bad. So that could be another reason. And now I'm getting a phone call. I'm gonna pause you guys. Alright, guys, we're back. The girlfriend called. She wanted to know where I was. So I've talked about the coronavirus. I've talked about the protests. And then the last thing, which a handful of economy experts are talking about, from what I've seen on YouTube, I think you'll be somewhat intelligent in your field if you're going on Fox News and ABC and stuff like that to talk about the economy. But the last thing is that there are a lot of people, both retail investors and, the big time names, that they think the market is not reflecting what's going on in life. And the more and more they talk about it, the more and more it shows, because if people believe that the market's just going to crash again when a second wave comes, then they might hold off on putting in their $200 or $2,000 or $20,000 to see if the market dips down. If I scroll down and look at Glad, even though it's lost 8% today, I still bought it at $6.34. I have made a profit of 9%. So profit of 10%. And before the last few days, I had made a profit of 18%. So I had a little bit of money in Glad, but not a lot. We look at Prospect Capital, almost the same thing. I've got a 24% total return so far. It went down 2.5% today, so this guy did pretty good. But, my average cost is $4.36, and they're at $5.42. So, stock is still doing very well. So that's not a good example. Realty, they dropped a bunch today. Although, I talked about why they dropped in my video yesterday, so you should go watch that one. So they dropped 6% today. If you add that back in, we're at about 16% overall return. So I bought a lot of these stocks in the downfall of the stock market. I had the money. I had parts of a stimulus check. I had, extra hours at work, because Pizza Hut always delivers pizza. They just say mask, gloves, put your food in a trash bag, call everything good. So, another reason why the market could be going down is because as more and more people, experts and your retail investors kind of start to realize, hey, the market looks really good, and all of us that threw money into it anywhere between February and April, we're all seeing some types of returns. At one point, the market got back up to what it was before the coronavirus. And I think it's starting to slowly go back down. But the reason why it's going down is it's starting to actually reflect what the economy is actually doing. Now, I'm going to say it again just to make sure I'm clear. Those three reasons are my opinions. Those are my predictions, based off of what I've heard other people say, based off of... Is that my brother? No, it's not. Just based off of the different things that are strong possibilities, and in the past, have also shown where the market can increase or decrease. Uncertainty in the United States, in the world, makes the market go down, and then good news tends to make the market go up. Plain and simple. So, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I do not have a stock to open because none of y'all signed up for Robinhood. I am not the only person that makes these videos by far, but if you sign up, we both get a free stock, and it's a win-win. So I don't have anything else for you guys. I hope you all have a great day and happy investing.